Do you imagine if you have a railroad in here? If you guys have railroad, like in this season, a traveler season, might be from Vientiane to Pak Se. Travelers can take on the railway from Vientiane to Pak Se. I'm talking about the passenger even, but it could be possible someday. So I will tell our country's telling story of railroad construction and management for your benchmarking study. And then I want to let you have some reminder like last time. Please don't read everything here in the lecture slide currently, since you have a lot of time in your home or in your office. So please listen to my lecture in here, and then I will deliver as best as I can my insight to you. Easily you can understand. So today's lecture consists of majorly two parts. One is the basic thing of railroad, including passenger and freight. Okay, I can only talk to a freight thing for railroad logistics, of course, but for understanding for railroad, you should understand passenger thing in here. Okay, so that is my first major thing, I think. And then second part is all about our Korea's railroad logistic law or railway law or something like a law, overall things. And then I'll talk to the policies of a railroad thing in Korea, since you are the almost in here a policymaker as well as academia and some industry, but policymakers' roles is seriously important to make your continent progress, I think. So that's why, I brought many of slides for our policy things. So half of those slides I prepared all about the basic thing of focus on railway, of course, including some of the transportation thing, but now I'll explain. So when you think about new transportation facility, including high-speed railway or expressway, if you have those big or significant transportation facility in Pak Se, or I'll tell you the specifically Pak Se city, if you have that kind of transportation facility in here, for example, high-speed railway, like, in that case, you need a land, right? Land to make some construction and to develop the urban planning, right? So before making the construction of railway or high-speed railway or expressway, there are some things for land use, like a residential or commercial or other purpose sometimes. But after completing those transportation facilities, it induces other demand, like urban planning more. That means it's like in technical word, gentrification, something like that. It's like you reside in over there, but the price of the land is going up. That means land fee is going up. You cannot pay the same thing previously compared to before the construction of railway or other major transportation facility. It's something like happen. So sometimes transportation facility make you a positive effect in the transportation facilities area, but all of the some cases it happens, like I told you, gentrification, or like going up the price of the land or rent or housing or inflation or whatever things. So you need to think about a little bit more. Like last time, I emphasized on construction of expressway. Like I told you the case of the Gyeongbu Expressway in 1970. they quite things making big progress to transport our freight at that time in Korea. So, but in Korea, after I think the construction of Gyeongbu Expressway, of course, many things of expressway happen to construct. But Gyeongbu axis, I mean Seoul to Busan port. Seoul is the capital area in Korea. So at that time, the freight and passenger claim the government. We need more like other transportation mode to make travel time decrease, something like that. So our policymaker think that why don't we have another fast transportation mode, such like a high-speed rail. So that's why our government start making or start thinking this kind of thing from how it's like making a plan first. So initially in 1992, National Highway construction master plan started. So this is the happening in the first time Korea. But in the first time, we thought it might be okay 7 years or 8 years to construct like Seoul to Busan at that time. But master plan in the paper always it's like not perfect, since if we started a real thing like a construction or something else, it needs more time. So how much? We did 12 years to make first page of the high-speed rail to Gyeongbu, like Seoul to half of the section. But after 2004, we need 8 years more to complete the other thing. It's like happening in Korea. So I need to tell something else in the first time here. Before going to more specifically about the lecture, I need to explain some concept like words concept, mobility and accessibility. Those are below the pictures. So I will talk several times in the lectures mobility or accessibility. So that's why I need to clarify those concepts. So mobility means the ability or potential to speed up traffic flow from one point to another. It's like if you are mobility improved in some urban area, your resident people can move fastly rather than before. So this is something like that. And accessibility is like availability or access opportunity to reach a multiple transportation facility. Like in here, if you want to go to BNT by road, you need to take the major trunk road, right? Not local road. It's like how much minutes you need to reach on a trunk road network, something like that. In Korea, we have a rule or standard of 13 minutes. If everyone in Korea should reach to that trunk road network within 30 minutes, that is like a primary goal in policymaker. It's like, you understand. One more thing, I'm sorry. So those below intermodalism and multimodalism. It looks similar, of course, it looks similar, but the major difference between those two concepts in academia is there are a lot of contractors between the some stopover or the destination or origin. For example, like if I want to send my freight from here to Vientiane, somebody might take my things, just one contract. But if two persons take my thing with two contracts using other transportation mode, we say intermodalism. But one guy to deliver my thing, so that means multimodalism. I'm saying too easily to you, okay? So I need to talk to the concept things of railway words. So in Korea, we have some classification of railway, like high-speed railway in Korea. It's like speeding up with more than 300 kilometers per hour. But in Korea, the priority of passes on track in railway is more giving to a passenger rather than freight. And then you cannot imagine high speed railway with the big heavy freight like for Bangtao Drive transporting to Bangtao Drive port. No, not at all. This the little bit small freight like parcel delivery things. Sometimes it happen, but not tone base or whatever things. It does not happen. Okay, so it's one thing. And in the urban area in Korea, we have urban railway. I think including Deputy Director General, you guys had experience of taking, boarding or getting up the subway system in Seoul, something like that. We say urban railway, but sometimes urban railway in Seoul or around the cities, it needs to be connected, right? So that means metropolitan railway, we say. But our government has a rule which railway, classification of which railway will be supported by how much portion of government money. So high-speed railway and urban railway, metropolitan railway, of course, they have support of money from the government, but depending on some situation, it's like sometimes 40%, sometimes 50%, sometimes even 60%. It's like depending on the period, depending on the independence of the local municipalities' financial situation, something like they are rich, they pay more, like a Seoul case, something like that. And then one thing I need to talk more is that we have other railway, like not high-speed railway. We say general railway, consisting of 무궁화 train and Semaul train. Those things, speed is respectively 100 km per hour and 150 km per hour, just less than just half of the high-speed railway in Korea, KTX, something like that. So, but these days, our government or our managing organization in Korea about railway, they are trying to push or put in a more high-speed railway in Korea. It's like a trend. So this slide is the trend or statistic of railway passenger transport volume, like how many passengers transported by metropolitan railway or a regional, interregional railway train, something like that. So if you can see the dark blue, and dark blue means metropolitan passenger trains volume. It's like I think you think you should like have an idea of Seoul capital area. It's like same BNT and something like that. In Korea, in Seoul, including Gyeonggi and Incheon and Gyeonggi province, almost the half of the population is in Korea. So, but the passenger volume per year is like more than the population. It's easily you can remember. But if we expanding these conceptual things in the interregional train in here, interregional train means a passenger can use a high-speed railway or general railway like Semauro or Mugunghao or something like that. It's the passenger volume. Volume is the more than 2 times of the total population of in Korea per year. It's like more increasing and increasing, but you know you can see over here it's like a more sharply decreasing. You might guessing why it is. Of course, this is for COVID-19 pandemic. Because of that, the statistics shows that more than 30% compared to the high year 2019 year is a decrease. And then I need to talk to how much railway lengths, railway extension we have in Korea. So do you see the 1983 year in Korea? You might alarm. Oh, how big? How much railway length in here? 3,000 kilometers at that time. But you know our extension of railway. At that time, this is only a general railway. I told you Mugunghao or Semauro or something like that. Our high-speed railway just started introduced in 2004. So, Tom, did you see this one? So after 2004, the gap between 2012, all of the extensions is related to high-speed railway. We didn't construct for general railway anymore. I need to talk to motivation of construction of railway in Korea. This is the axis of Seoul. We say abbreviated or shortly like Gyeongbu line, Gyeongbu axis. This is the Seoul capital area. It's like a Vientiane in Laos. This is this area is Busan port. It's like a Pakse in CPS, I think. So, but in 1990, what happened in Korea is that the logistic transportation cost, it's not under controlling. Since why I can tell you is that at that time, the advanced country, including Japan or other USA or European countries, the proportion of logistic transportation cost, it's like a corporate logistic cost, all the things in the nation. It's just only in advanced country, less than 10% of the GDP, gross national products. But in Korea, what happened? More than 15%. It's the highest one, but after that, some decreasing, like 13%, 12%. So what happened in our competitiveness of transportation freight? It's like a decreasing of our competitiveness, and then cost a lot to transport the freight, the same things, rather than compared to other countries. It is a problem. So there was the one thing, the reason they brought this concept of the constructing the highway speed rail things. And another thing is, can't you imagine this Gyeongbu axis around the Gyeongbu axis residing in 75% more population, and then 70% of the freight in total nation is moving, going up, going down. That's why government need another transportation mode, not just highway, expressway, or another supplementary thing like high-speed railway. That's why one of the big reason. But can't you, one more thing, I'm sorry. Can't you imagine don't you think we have, at the initial stage, have big or advanced technology to construct the high-speed rail? No, not at all. At that time, we didn't have any technology, any experience. Of course, Expressway, it started in 1970. Of course, it is possible, but these things, no. So we had the several trial error to construct and financial thing in some way. This slide is the first stage of the Gyeongbu High-Speed Railway. I talked to you several times the Gyeongbu High-Speed Railway. It looks like this one. So we started from technically Gwangmyeong here, Gwangmyeong. Seoul is here, it's close. So started Seoul or Gwangmyeong, and then we passed through Cheonan, Asan, Osong, Daejeon, Gimcheon, Gumi, Dongdaegu. In the first phase, from the 1990 to 2004, since we didn't have any experience constructing the high-speed railway, I told you, it has several trials and errors at that time, like revision of planning, revision of designing, or so many things happen. So it cannot meet the initial construction period. So it's happened. So we divided phase 1 and phase 2. So phase 2 is that like those lines, Dongdaegu, Gyeongju, Ulsan, Busan. And then after that, we constructed more branch lines of a high-speed railway, something like that. So nowadays, we have like a vision of high-speed railway. They try to make this Gyeongbu axis is the major thing. And then plus this I will talk to you, I will tell you later slides, but we have the Honam axis in here. But you might have, why don't they have like this line, like X shape, right? If we have X shape, more residents, more population can access the railway easily, right? So the government are thinking about that. So I talked about the railways stops, stations, and some compared to the general railway in here. You can see the I talked to previous slide, X-shaped highway speed railway our government is planning, right? So currently is the constructed not a perfect X shape, but we say Gyeongbu axis and Honam axis. So, but if we don't have those two major axes in Korea at that time, if I want to from Seoul to Busan by general train, I said Semauro or Mugunghao, it takes more than 4 or 5 hours for one trip. But with high-speed railway, only 2 hours. 2 hours. 2 hours means you have a 2-hour living circle, living day in Korea. Like if you are in Busan, you want to have sightseeing in Seoul, or you want to go to very fancy department in Seoul, you can go there just one day, having so many funds, and you don't need to stay in the night. You just go back home. It is possible. And if you need some medical things in capital area, of course, in capital area, providing always good medical operations rather than others sometimes, right? So it's possible. It's like the same in that Honam axis the same. It's like a half of the travel time decrease. It happened after construction of high-speed railway. And then one thing I need to notify for more information is that nowadays in Seoul station they have getting off boarding passenger volume is 30 million passengers per year. How big? I told you in Seoul, technically in Seoul, they only have 10 million people, but including capital area, including Incheon and Gyeonggi, the residents population is 25 million. That means the passenger volume is quite really big. But I'm guessing, I'm really guessing, our people nowadays, they know the travel time decreasing, the convenience of the high-speed railway. So they are getting more and more taking on the high-speed railway. I'm sure. I will take the effect of after construction of railway, high-speed railway in this slide. Before constructing the high-speed railway, of course, there is no high-speed railway. So how the people in Seoul or Busan, they can go to the Busan or Seoul? It's like you might have cash on it. So of course, we have only two options: general railway and three options: general railway, aviation, and personal vehicle. Yes, at that time you can see before the 2004, 2003. Car is a proportion 21%, regular railway is 36%, and aviation 36%. But what happened after 2004 with the high-speed railway after 10 years? Can't you see those unbelievable things? This high-speed railway accounted for the highest one, almost 60%. We say in transportation export, what is called travel behavior change. Travel behavior change. So travel behavior change happened. Like we don't now, we prefer taking on high-speed rail rather than 2000, before the 2003. Since I talked to you, the travel time is decreased, half of the previous time. In this slide, I will tell some little bit not positive effect of introducing high-speed railway. So it's not always rosy prediction. If you introduce a high-speed railway, since I talked to you in the first time a little bit, but I will clarify specifically in this slide. So sometimes, not all the time, sometimes stop stations of high-speed railway has straw effect. Straw? What is straw? Of course, you will have a straw with your coffee, right? With your iced coffee. It's like a straw effect. So high-speed rail or trunk transportation facility store everything in around that facility. So that means, population can increase so fastly. Can you have a baby in a day, 10 days, in a month? No, not at all. That means this population or the commercial things related to commercial thing, it's like a zero-sum game. If development or high development can happen in high-speed rail stations, they should have some population, new population from where? Near to around the cities or small or medium cities, something like that. So do you think what happened around the city? The population is decreasing. This is like nothing at all in the area. It's happening sometimes, but not all the times. But not always bad. I think this is the very old time is Yongsan Station. Currently, now our president relocated from Seoul to Yongsan. So anyway, this is a little bit another story. But I think the 30 or 40 years ago, Yongsan Station looks like just only three-story buildings or four-story buildings over there. Oh, nowadays, can't you imagine? I think the town was there at that time last year. So what facilities are there? Facilities includes the department, the shopping mall, a business center, or transfer stations to subway or mass transportation bus, something like that. So why Korean policymaker design this like that? At major highway high-speed rail station is that if we want to make new things with urban development plan, we need to prepare everything in need for our people. So if we make these kind of things, it can make added new value for our economic growth. If we don't have this kind of facilities in here, it only just transportation facility. It's not happen at all in any activities. It does not make any added value. So this is like a complex development around the major high-speed rail station. We will recommend a little bit of success factors I will tell or limitation in Korea. In our cases, in our benchmarking cases in Korea, I need to let you understand some things. I told you at that time we didn't have any technology or professionals or consulting and management or operation for high-speed railway. So if we have this kind of situation, should we stop everything? No, not at all. We can bring those things in advanced countries like us, but you need to decide which stage we need to bring those things in our nation, in Laos, in Champasak or Bang Tao Dry Port. I cannot advise which year directly to you, but it needs to talk to the professional in these sectors you can use. Like in Korea, we have many of professional organization in every sectors, like transportation, road, railway, or land development, something like that. So you can use this kind of ODA project, like yesterday. You can use. So I highly recommend your government as well as the provincial level get involved in this kind of really helpful measures to use for your future. This slide is some of limitations, but I already talked several times in the previous time. So, but I want to notify one thing again. I just in here there is one bridge, Lao Nippon Bridge over there, right? That was constructed before 30 years. So, bridges lifespans, of course, more than 30 years, but I don't think 50 years. So some days, the maintenance problems will face in provincial and central governments level, I think. Why I emphasizing on that is that in Korea, our transportation infrastructure mostly heavily constructed. Do you remember Gyeongbu Expressway? 1970, 1980, even 1990. So I think the 30% of major transportation facilities in Korea are over than 30 years old. So what happening in Korea? We invested money in advance with asset management technique, which is the advanced management of transportation infrastructure in the world. It's like sometimes, of course not sometimes, always it happens like I'm carefully guessing. If you see some pothole or some things on the road, your people, your staff will repair it, right? But asset management techniques like expect which year or which months, according to the big data information of the span or type or pavement condition or something like that with data. They guess in advance how much we need to prepare to pavement or something like that. It's like a asset management technique. In Korea these days, in some institution, they try to develop or conceptualize these things in the real world. This slide will explain the management organizations, high-speed railway related things in Korea. So two things have involved in two organizations. So one is the Korea Railroad Company. We name it Korail. Korail is operated or managing of the freight car operation or passenger car operation. It is in charge of everything, Korail. But another, high-speed rail operators, of course, there is. But I just want to know the simple things. The Korail is there is, and another for managing and making maintenance for the high-speed railway track, including general railway. We have an organization, we say Korea National Railway. This is managing a railway track, a railway facility, something like that. So we have divided operation and management side of facility, something like that. And then I want to let you know one important thing about railroad logistics in this slide. 2017, we enacted the Act of Railroad Logistic Industry Development and Supplement Act. Why I'm emphasizing is that not all the transportation sector they did not make logistic centered plan. It's like a railway has that kind of plan. You might guessing why, since the railway for logistics is not having economic growth or their own growth. So law made or plan made help them more increasing, more making progressing. It's like a happen. This slide is freight volume for railroad logistics. In the previous slide, we talked about the passenger volume in high-speed railway. I talked to you high-speed railway, including general railway. It's like a high-speed railway really does not provide a high-speed freight service. Of course, I talked to you, some of them, parcel delivery, light things, in the high-speed railway, they can, but not ton basis or not container or something like that. That should be transported by a general railway with other freight container, something like that. But how much is speeding up? Do you expecting? Only 60 kilometers per hour. It's quite a problem in Korea in these days. So, but you can see this graph. What is this graph? Railroad freight transport volume based on ton kilo. Why ton kilo? Of course, ton is weight. Kilometer means travel distance. Why we multiply those two things? Railway has importance of those two things combined. Okay. So I brought this graph in here, but now you can see how Korea's railroad logistics, how much bad. So in 1991 was a peak, like a 90, I just guess 19 billion, 14 billion ton kilo, maybe, right? 14 billion ton kilo at that time. But nowadays, one over third at the compared to a peak period. So that's why in the previous slide, the government tried to make a new law or new legal plan to make them progress for freight logistics. And this slide is a railway construction plan based on the Railway Construction Act. So right slide, this is all of the our type of the railway length location. Like if you can see, I think the green line is current high-speed railway. So I talked to you Gyeongbu axis and Honam axis, but the blue line, some of the blue lines now are under construction or planning or feasibility study to make those things real. So if you see the high-speed railway, it looks like more centered. Gyeongbu axis and Honam axis, and then they have branch lines, something like that, right? This is why it is happening. Our freight and passengers, many of things are, centered on this Gyeongbu axis and Honam axis. This Gangwon area, there is less population than other areas. Always many populations in Seoul metropolitan area and Busan and those areas. That's why the national land development with high-speed rail or general railway or expressway is happening. And then this picture is the statistics of taking off the high-speed railway. Can't you see these blue lines? Can't you see this blue line in here? No, not at all. Since there is no connecting to, so that you can now imagine how much people's moving from Gyeongbu axis and Honam axis now. And then this plan is for railway construction purpose only. So we have many legal plan in railway section based on each railway law. I will tell you a different railway law in the next slide. This slide is initiative or target or subtask and effects of our previous plan, but it does not, I think, explain it specifically now. But I want to emphasize one thing. What is their primary goal of targeting is that they want to improve or making the proportion of transporting freight by railway more than 10% based on ton kilo in Korea. I will tell you maybe in other slides, but road network transported almost 93% in Korea. So that means we need to develop other transportation mode for transporting freight in the land in our countries. This is like a challengeable target in Korea. So this is the railway related law in Korea. Of course, other things possible, but I extracted some of them in here. I just want to make you a little bit insight to you railway related law. So in here, we have Urban Railroad Act. Everything for urban railway, it should be based on that law. In Korea, policymakers, they do their own work based on every law. Railway, road sector, airline, water, or whatever things. So law is important. If there is no law about the task, they cannot do. So law is important. That's why Urban Railroad Act there is in urban area. And then for railway constructions, at that time, we did have Railway Construction Act. But our transportation infrastructures development has been quite a long time, right? So that means maintenance problems is quite these days important. So what happened in the law revision is happened. So name and the contents were changed, like Railway Construction and Maintenance Act appeared. So the contents also changed. And another thing I talked to you, this railway section has some distinct thing compared to other transport sector. This railway section has centered, concentrated law exists, like this one, Railroad Logistic Industry Development Support Act. Even though they have Railroad Industry Development Act, even though they has. So, do you know why? Quite important rather than other sector, and then their industry and growth is getting decreasing and decreasing. Government want to let them going up and up. That's why they are trying to these kind of things. And then of course railway. If railway has I don't want, but if railway has an accident, like a person or freight things, it sometimes make a little bigger accident, right? That's why Railway Safety Act there is something else. This is the example of Railroad Logistics Act. Like other laws, we have the similar things, definition, why it is introduced or something like that. But I want to emphasize some things, development of the railroad logistic industry. Sure. They want to several things try, but I will explain each one. First thing is allocation of track capacity. So railway has not open access. If you have private vehicle, you can go to everywhere with the road network, right? You can access if you want. But railway, you should take a train, right? With the given track. So that means the government needs to let somebody else manage and operate this track capacity or track operation, something else. This is the explain about something like that. And secondly is the charging fees of freight railroad facilities. Railroad facilities include track, station, or complexes development. This is the all. And I want to emphasize those two things, standardization and informatization. What standardization of rail logistics? Of course, freight train and car, like a container transporter, transport container, something like that. This should be standardized. If you want to export your products or import advanced countries or European countries, whatever countries, since it does not standardize, you need to every time load unload shuttle transportation happening. So of course there is overall standardization in the world in the railway sector. So there is, and informatization is quite good, quite important phenomenon in these days, since now we are in experience in fourth industrial revolution, right? Fourth industrial revolution based on big data or platform economy or something like that. In that case, related to that kind of things closely, road sector also needs railway information system, like based on data. something like that. So that is described in the Article 15. And then I want to explain Article 16 is it contains transporting of hazardous material and heavy things. Why law article specify these things? Like a benefit of the transporting those things is quite big rather than load sector. So they encourage in the law. Since encouraging in the law might be industry operator or somebody else might be follow the law. So this is the one of the reasons. And last one is the like a financial assistance from government or pilot test with government money, something like that. So in the law, they set up the financial assistance clause to let company get the money from the government to do pilot tests or setting up the new freight facility or something like that. Before talking to problem and direction of railway logistics growth, we need to talk to the current situation of this. So this slide explains some statistic things with words or even the tables. If you can see these tables, it's almost 20 years period, 2001 to 2020. If you look at the first row, all of the transportation volume, freight volume, more and more increasing. Can't you see here? But of course, this is the Corona pandemic period, so you should consider this thing. But volume of railroad, what happened? Just the help of them in the 2001. So there, the rail share percentage, ton based or ton kilo. It also the more and more decreasing, like a half of the proportion of in 2001. That's why I talked to you in the previous slide, the Railway Logistic Development Act, Railway Logistic Development Plan, legal plan. It's like a government is trying to make industry operators can get more benefits, more help from the government side. So it's happening. So this is I talked to you the statistic of the road, vessel, and railway, something else. So you can see it's based on ton. Railway just only in 2020, the proportion of the freight in total just only account for 1.4% is quite low rather than other transportation mode. Next slide is operation of Korea Railway Company. I talked to you in the previous slide. So Korea Railway is operating the freight cars and passenger cars together. So, but in terms of the logistic division in charge of logistic things in Korea, can you see this table, revenue and cost table? As the 5 years, if you see the number, cost is higher than the revenue. Normally, private company cannot endure this kind of situation, but Korea is the public organization supported by government. That's why it happened. But we need to look at the revenue here. This transportation business means you can easily think about the transporting freight only from one station to another station. But it almost 80% of the total revenue. And then 15% is accounted by public service obligation. What does public service obligation means? In Korea, in Korea, public PSO, we say PSO, public service obligation. In Korea, our railroad system connected to remote area as well also. Like I talked to you, I just talked to you, rosy things in here, but if like a remote area, like in Laos, like not Vientiane, not Pakse, not other area, not capital area, they also have access in general railway. So Korean Railroad operates general railway. So this PSO accounts for 15% of the total revenue. And then actually Korail operates Uang ICD, like a Bangtao dry port in here, the almost handled for capitalism in Korea, freight volume I'm talking to. But you need to look at the labor cost intensively, since labor cost is quite high, accounting for more than 50% in total cost. Do you know why? Our labor cost is not efficient, since compared to advanced countries, Japan Shinkansen, French TGV, something else, they has a proportion of around 30%, but in our Korea, 50%. It should be medicine. It should be cured, I think. And then the cost is power cost also has. What does mean power cost in here? In Korea, of course, our track is in electric. If electric track, the high-speed railway can be operated, but I talked to you, we have general railway, right? Mugunghwa or Semauro. We have some source of power like a diesel or something else. In that case, some sections, not electric sections, they need to be operated by diesel freight car, diesel passenger car, something else. It makes the power core something else. Line usage fee means, I talked to you, Korail operates the freight car or passenger car, but who's carrying, who's managing for track? I talked to you, Korean National Railway. So this is like a cost. But one more I want to emphasizing is the cost is the higher than revenue. This slide is about rail freight operating systems and trend. Recent 10 years, in the last 10 years, the number of the freight station operating stations number is more and more decreasing, like half of the 2007, including container yard, warehouse, or steel warehousing, something else. The main reason is, I talked to you, it's like a trend of railway logistics, rail freight is decreasing more and more. If this trend is happening, freight operation time, freight operation frequency naturally decreasing. So if freight supplier, even though wants to take my freight on the train, they cannot do. So it's like a bad circle is going and going. And this is the sales of railway logistic industry. Why don't you look at this table? These tables and this column is important thing. So currently, rail freight transportation only takes more than 40% of the total revenue or total sales. But can't you see those numbers? The manufacturing industry for equipment and really low percentage, not below 1%, 0.1%, and equipment rental business only takes 7.1%. So what I'm emphasizing, those two things is that our rail freight industry is now losing competitiveness because of what? Nobody can develop their freight cars. Nobody's research and developed transport container. We need to import everything, facility, equipment, technology, something else. So it's like deteriorate the ecosystem of railway industry. That's why government try to make a specific law and specific legal plan in the previous slide. Now we are talking to the problems of railway logistics industry. One thing I want to emphasize is inferior price competitiveness rather than road sector. Of course, in Korea, it's like a little bit unique in road sector, road development in Korea. Our government, with some amiable reasons, freight transporter in road sector provide some subsidies, or we say oil, petroleum subsidies, something else. It's not small, so little bit big, so big, and then they get the freight transporter in road sector. They use expressway, but the tolling fee, day and night, is different for freight transporter, like more discounted in the night. These kind of things are supported by central government's money. So in that case, railway only has a little bit small amount of subsidy or like a grant. For what? They define convergent transportation subsidy. Convergent transportation subsidy from what? Road. If road transportation use railway transportation with some limited target, government pay back some money to that transporter, okay? But it's quite a little bit small. That is one reason, low price competitiveness. And then passenger train in high-speed rail or other general railways, on-time rate is more than, in terms of high-speed rate, 96% on-time rate. But freight, only 79%, less than 80%. So what happened? Freight train not on time in the stations. Transporters, freight transporters might need more money to loading, unloading, to back up the personnel or equipment or something else. It quite happens. So, and then another thing is overall the freight revenue is continuously decreasing. It's a trend. So we need to overcome this trend with a newly innovative ways. In this slide, I want to explain for necessity of development of why railway should be. Several reasons there are, but two reasons I want to focus on. One is if we only utilize road transportation network, if road transportation and then road transport network is demolished or like traffic jams happens frequently, we need another transportation mode like a railway. That's why we need another alternative like a supplementary transportation mode in the nation. And the other reason is that, these days with the European countries, EU, they are trying to make environmental regulation stricter in over time, I think. So if you want to export your product, European countries, maybe in Korea or other, advanced country like USA, they might apply for stricter environmental regulation for your product. So at that time, railway is a good way to use or transport freight, since railway is unit energy consumption of railway is compared to road sector is 1/11, and the greenhouse gas emission is 1/7. It's quite attracting. Now we are experiencing the one trend, like in logistics, e-commerce. What does mean e-commerce? E-commerce means you can order some necessary things with your phone or in your computer, right? You don't need to go to the market. You don't need to go to the department to buy something else. But this behavior change makes more traffic freight volume, right? I'm talking to consumer to business to consumer business, and not tone-based, container-based freight traffic. But in Korea, maybe some days I think the first possible thing is in Vientiane. If they have urban train, why we should use urban train for only passenger? Why? If we have some capacity in the night, or in the passenger train with some space for freight, parcel delivery, we can use it. This is like these days in Korea, with more increasing parcel delivery volume, especially in Seoul, capital area. They are trying to introduce this concept with shared logistic facility in the subway station. It's happening, but I just want to insight some your people for in case of our countries. This slide is overseas countries, some helpful cases, but I'm not talking to everything. But one thing I want to explain for the above thing, in other countries, Europe, or they have a freight facility grant, which supports logistic companies or construction or work of new logistic facility or improvement of logistic facility or development of equipment or something else. The government support 50%, at best 50% of construction or management or whatever thing. But why it should happen is, of course, logistic area is a private sector, right? But do you think the logistic company can construct the railway? Do you think the logistic company construct a road network? Logistic companies cannot do everything without government support. So that's why government think like a deeply help with some construction management thing, like a facility and equipment. It's like a more in advance, like rather than just making or constructing road development or railway development, something else. It's more like an advanced concept in Euro countries. This slide is the first railway logistic industry plan, like a summary version. I will explain a couple of slides for the 4 things this plan. But I will briefly talk in this type 4 things. This plan consists of railway logistic operation thing and infrastructure construction, and technology development. Another thing is the other industries development things. So I will talk about in order to. So first thing is railway logistic operation. Operation includes my on-time rate is quite related. I talked to you. A freight on-time rate in railway only 79%. So in the plan, they are trying to do more higher to get freight transportation provider attracting. And then another thing is this Korea, so passenger priority passes is several times is given. Of course, it cannot change it since Korea's high-speed railway is given to the in priority to passenger. But for freight transportation provider using railway, if we develop other services like service differences like in daytime and nighttime, and using high-speed rail like a real high-speed rail and general railway, something else. So with different services and different service charges, it can make like a little bit railway logistics ecosystem or industry going little bit boom up. Since new, I talked to you, new services will introduce. This is, they are thinking. This slide is infrastructure management and construction. I talked to you in the previous slide. We have existing railway lines for general railway. Some days it should be highly upgrade for high-speed railway with electricity rate. Like currently, I think the electricity rate for track less than 60 or 50%. It should be higher than now, since electric locomotive quite more recommended to operate, since I talked to you environmental regulation or something else. And so this is happening. And in Korea, in capital region, there is Uang ICD. Uang ICD get involved almost 80 or 90% of Seoul capital areas freight volume. But the problem is this uses right for freight companies almost expired, like 2023. So we need to develop another layout, another plan, how we can develop this place more advanced or more attracting. It's something like that. So now the government try to make a new concept, new layout for developing Uang ICD, I think. And then last thing, can't you see if you see the Korea in the map, our nation is disconnected, with South Korea and North Korea. Of course, in our nation's growing direction should be connected in the world, since we are import export based on country. So in that case, nowadays we only are connecting transportation mode, airline and vessel. But if we have a connected railway through North Korea and TCR, Trans-China Railway, and then Trans-Siberian Railway, something like that, we can go through European countries or Central Asia countries as well. It's like a dream, but we need to prepare the infrastructure investment and management as well. This slide is other industries development rather than logistics sector. So one thing I would introduce the concept is the first one. Yesterday, we reported interim report of second year our logistic master plan, including feasibility study of logistic terminal over there in Pakse. But economic feasibility is it's possible, but financial feasibility is not possible. We concluded, but how we can conclude those things possible or not possible is that there are some items like time value, freight value, or something else we should calculate in the feasibility study or economic studies. But time is changed. People needs in change. Something else. We need to include other valuable items in terms of railway section. So in Korea, we are trying to do new concepts introduced like freight cargo reduction value. When we are transporting by railway, or cargo value, or on-time rate value, or something else, we need to include those kind of values compared to other road sectors or other cases. It's like a concept, but they are trying. And another thing is, I think the human and professionals education, training is most of the important thing in the logistics sector as well as other supporting sectors. So in the plan, they are trying to make more fostering about that. Last slide is the technology development. So in Korea, what happened these days, the R&D or other technology money are trying to develop long-haul train. Long-haul train means freight cars there and there is a container. But some of the safety reason, and they should stop station and something else, several factors considering. It's like 30 containers or 40 containers is sometimes best, but long-haul train means with the technology development or operation efficiency or something else, they can operate 80 containers or 70 containers in one time. Do you know why it is important? It makes mass freight transportation. If you go just one time, like a twofold of freight volume, it's more economical. Economy of scale is possible sometimes. And then another thing is container usually only one story. But sometimes with the developed technology, it can be possible 2 stages. So it's like a development trend in Korea. I want to say another thing for you, and standardization and informatization of railway, quite important. Again, emphasizing. So transportation container and freight cars type or railway track or something, it should be standardization. And then informatization for necessary for applying to fourth industrial revolution and connecting to other worlds in your countries some days. You have waited. This is the last slide. So I want to share my thinking to your countries about railway things in terms of passenger and logistics. I know you have high-speed railway from Chinese government constructed from Kunming to Vientiane. So if we can use those things with possible fundings, I like carefully recommend like your land size is double of our countries. So, but population is less than 1/5. Since 50 million, your people's 10 million, right? But densely, your people is mostly reside in the urban city like Vientiane, Bang Bieng, or Park Se, Park Song, or somewhere else. So I carefully recommend. So if you want to construct the railway, why don't you connect major urban area as well as the freight facilities in the around the country, like Da Nang Port or Lamchabang Port, something else. This is a conceptual thing. And then, since land size is quite big, so I carefully recommend the expressways. It will supplement with high-speed railways or general railway, I think. Since high-speed railway or general railway, the construction costs 5 times or even 6 times more than expressways. So it is anyway. It is up to policymakers' decision in your countries. But in our country's case, it needs to be supplementary between road and railway section, but with the limitation of budget and resource, human resource, other technical things, you need to talk to later more if you want to.